order. If the clerk will do row.
Or to give their address before they speak at an open public meeting.
Mr. Bryson, respectfully, we believe that as he's making this amendment, this would be the council's amendment. If that's the restriction that he wishes to impose, as far as allowing a public comment from only city residents, we believe that's within the rights and the laws of the open meetings.
Respectfully, state law supersedes local municipal law.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
So if anyone would like to speak, please sign in, please. Also,
Do you have to live in the city?
So clarify for council, clarify your motion, Judd. So
I would
anybody
like to
can,
give any city resident the opportunity to speak for 1 minute.
the chair will not recognize an illegal motion. So if you're making a motion to allow people of the
Okay,
public
but
to
if you don't
speak,
speak, that's fine. Then we'll just,
I'm not saying we want people to speak.
okay,
But we can't sit here and make illegal motions. The city attorney has made it clear. Your attorney just advised that your motion cannot trump state law. So if state law requires that anybody can speak, then allow everybody to speak that may want to speak.
okay, thank you.
So is there a motion on the floor to amend the agenda to allow some people to speak?
No.
Anyone that
Motion failed to pass. So we're going to open in prayer.
I would also like to I would ask to amend the ordinance to only for minutes of approval, a grant for Boone Trace Trail improvement, and to appoint a new council member. And if that is accepted.
Could you clarify that the appointment of a new council person is already on the agenda?
Yes, I want to keep that, and I want to keep the grant for Boone Trace Trail improvement only tonight. And the minutes, and we need to approve minutes.
But nothing else?
No, sir,
What about the smoking?
not tonight, sir.
Okay. So need a second on the motion? It appears that motion has failed. We will proceed with the agenda. We're going to do opening prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you and we give you the praise and the honor and the glory for this day. God, we ask in this time in our city that you send peace and that you give every light that's on in the darkness that's happening in this city, God. But most of all, Lord, that you give peace to the residents. Lord, you give peace to those that's troubled by the things that's currently happening. Lord, I pray that your hand be on this council, and Lord, that you would guide them. Lord, guide me. Give us wisdom to lead this city and do it with a heart of a servant of Christ, and will forever give you the honor, the glory, and the praise. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yeah. Next thing on the agenda is to approve the minutes from August the 4th, 15th, and the 29th. What's council's pleasure?
I move to approve the minutes with the exception of the comments made by Carmine, the attorney that spoke for you.
So the council member's motion is to accept all the minutes except the portion where my attorney objected to in the last meeting. Is that correct?
That, I'm a little puzzled. That was a part of the meeting. Why are you not wanting to make that a part of the minutes of the meeting?
Mr. Bryson, just if I can, what I read, KRS 61-835, would probably govern that. It states that the minutes of action taken at every meeting of any public agency, setting forth an accurate record of votes and actions at such meeting. The reasoning behind it, I'm not privy to, but I think it would be, if that's the council's request, and if that is seconded and voted on and passed, that would be allowable, as that was not any type of action or any type of vote that was taking on that. That was simply a public comment.
Yeah.
Second.
The,
Second.
the minutes are supposed to reflect what occurred at the meeting. Once you start removing parts of the minutes,
Mr. Bryson, didn't he speak before the meeting started?
I'm sorry,
I think he spoke before the meeting started. Is that correct? That's the way I remember.
No.
The meeting was not called to order yet.
The meeting was called to order, but also a document was made a matter of record. So
I moved to strike his comments.
but that occurred during the meeting.
It doesn't matter. I moved to strike the comments. Can I get a second, please?
You were on a
just hold comments from the public, please. Councilman, I think that again, we're going down a road that appears to be illegal, that you're requesting to remove actions, not just by the council, but people from the public that spoke during that meeting, you sat and listened to without issue. He made a matter of record. Again, I don't see, and Conrad, or you're suggesting that council has the authority to strike things that happen in the minutes of a meeting.
I'm suggesting that they're not necessary to be included in the minutes of the meeting. Minutes are only needed to reflect a record of votes and action taken, neither one of which of those things occurred when, and I don't want to mispronounce his name, so Mr. Carmine, whenever he spoke, that was not an action that was taken. That was simply him giving his public comments, which albeit on your behalf, and him giving his objection. I mean, obviously we all know what's going on. There's a hearing on Friday. We're not going, I don't think that the council wants to be in a position where they're acknowledging or accepting any type of objection that he made, because they're not in the position to recognize an objection, rule on an objection, or give any type of decision on an objection. If that is accepted by them in this minutes, that could be an issue that could be raised at a later date. So I think that Mr. Weaver's motion is certainly within his purview, and if it is seconded and voted upon, would be well taken.
Conrad, this is getting into, well, first of all, minutes are to reflect what occurred at the meeting. That did occur
Accept all
at
those minutes.
the,
Mr. Bryson,
Councilman
accept,
Oger, let the city attorney, whose job is to protect the city,
well, he made it very
let
clear
him
that he doesn't
speak.
protect the
You
city. he doesn't
interrupted
protect
him
you.
is not getting us anywhere. Two attorneys are working this out. Please allow them to do so.
Okay.
the minutes are supposed to reflect what occurred at the meeting. That did occur at the meeting. If there was an error in the minutes in the proposed amendments, then that should be stricken, corrected, whatever. But that did occur during the meeting. It is a part of the meeting. If the intent is to pretend as though that did not occur or to waive an objection, or, that it did occur. The council was not asked to rule on anything that Carmine said at that meeting, and he made his objections a part of the record of that meeting. So they are a part of the minutes of that meeting. That is what occurred.
Fr- uh, and frankly, in theory, if I mean, that was a special called meeting, so if that was a special called meeting, in theory, he probably shouldn't have been allowed to speak anyway. I understand he was speaking on behalf of the mayor, so that probably creates and muddies the water a little bit on that issue, but, regardless, other than the fact that I think Mr. Weaver's made a motion that
I second.
is, now before the council. Only thing I can say is the statute on minutes sets, it's setting forth an accurate record of votes and actions. That was neither a record, or excuse me, that was neither a vote or an action. That was simply a speech that was given by his attorney.
Yeah,
Can we on the agenda so you probably put it next time?
Point of order, please.
Conrad, let me say one more thing. You and I go to court. We've been to court often. I have, and I'm sure you have, for public bodies such as the city. The city, as well as other public bodies, speaks through its minutes. If these items are taken out, and there's recordings all over the place of what occurred, how will that reflect on the council?
I'm not, I don't have an answer for that, Mr. Bryson. My answer is that the meetings, or the minutes, excuse me, are simply to show a record of voting and actions, neither which occurred when he spoke. So it's inclusion in the minutes. If that's the motion that Mr. Weaver has made, that would appear to be something that he could make that motion on.
Well, just for the record, I'm saying the court regularly recognizes that the city speaks through its minutes. And if the council wants to change or attempt to change what occurred at that meeting by taking this action, I think the courts will look very
There's no attempt to change,
poorly
Mr. Bryson.
on it.
And Mr. Bryson, really, if the courts were to review the minutes of the meeting, the only thing that they would be reviewing would be the actions that were taken. They wouldn't be reviewing an individual just giving a presentation or a speech to the council. All they would be reviewing would be actions. That's all that's reviewable, not whether or not someone spoke or not. That would never be an action before the court. The only thing that would be before the court is what actions were taken at the meeting. That was not an actionable incident.
No, that's not correct. The court reviews the minutes, the four corners of the document, not just simply the actions that are taken.
Well, obviously, but the question that you have, that I want to ask you, Conrad, if you could, that document that was read was made a matter of record with the city, acting city clerk. It's still there. I see what your attempt here, or council's attempt is here, but to say something didn't happen that because it may benefit the mayor, I just think we've now become absurd, and I'm not, at this point, the city clerk, city attorney is saying we can't do this, so council, I'm not sure that I can even accept this motion at this point, because I'm not going to do something illegal, and I feel like we're violating some laws to hide minutes, because I don't feel like it. So do you wish to approve the minutes of the August 4th and 15th meetings?
With the exclusion of what I said. The motion's on the floor.
I move to approve the August 4th meetings first.
Your motion has died, Judd. There's a motion on the floor for August the 4th. Who seconds it?
I'll second.
Do your roll call?
Mr. Ortega?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mr. Baker?
Yes.
Mr. Weaver?
I would like to appeal the ruling, please.
Council's already took action. Your own body overruled you, Judd. August the 15th meeting.
Judge, that was for August 4th.
Okay, just for August 4th.
Yeah.
I didn't understand.
What
I accept for August 4th, yes. Yes.
about August 15th?
I move to accept the minutes for August 15th.
A second.
Do your roll call?
Mr. Ortega?
Yes.
Mr. Young?
Yes.
Mr. Baker?
Yes.
Mr. Weaver?
Yes.
And then we are, the August 29th, we're just going to table to a later meeting. Conrad, I think it's very important that we get this right.
I don't
I would
disagree
prefer
with
the
that.
two attorneys to really, maybe even talk to KLC about this, because I just don't know how a body starts taking powers now to strike things out of it that they just don't like or agree with. This is becoming more of a Gestapo act.
Mr. Mayor, why don't we allow both attorneys to speak privately while we go over the rest of the agenda?
I agree with that, and I think KLC, maybe get them involved when it comes to the minutes, if you want my opinion.
So if both attorneys want to speak now and privately, we can go over the rest of the agenda.
Do you want to? Okay. Next thing on the agenda is council to hear from Kate. She's requesting an update to existing indoor smoking ban on the ordinance. Kate, if you'll come before council. This would be in regards to ordinance number 2009-03.
Good evening. Good evening, council members, and thank you all for sharing your time with me. I'm here to respectfully ask the council to consider extending London's existing indoor smoking ban to include vaping and e-cigarette use in indoor public spaces. When our city passed its smoke-free ordinance in 2009, we took a bold step to protect the public's right to breathe clean air. I was only 13 at the time, but I remember enjoying eating at restaurants so much more than the entire dining room was the non-smoking section. Since then, the rise of vaping has introduced new risks to indoor environments, especially for children, the elderly, and those with respiratory conditions like asthma. According to the CDC, e-cigarette aerosol contains harmful substances, including nicotine, a highly addictive chemical that can harm adolescent brain development, cancer-causing chemicals, heavy metals such as nickel, tin, and lead, and flavorings such as diacetyl, a chemical linked to serious lung disease. These substances linger in the air, exposing bystanders without their consent. THC vapes pose a different and more consequential effect for those inhaling the secondhand vapors. These THC vapes are readily available at gas stations and convenience stores and are mostly indistinguishable from nicotine vapes. According to the American Non-Smokers' Rights Foundations, particle concentrations from vaporizing cannabis can create levels of indoor pollution similar as those seen in extreme air pollution events such as wildfires and industrial pollution. People who are exposed to secondhand marijuana smoke can have detectable levels of THC in their blood and urine. As vaping becomes more common, especially among our youth, allowing it in indoor public spaces normalizes nicotine addiction and undermines decades of public health progress. Cities like Lexington and Berea have already updated their ordinances to include vaping. London can and should do the same. Indoor spaces should be safe and welcoming for everyone. My mom is allergic to the main ingredients found in almost every vape product, propylene glycol. Exposure to secondhand vapors can give her debilitating headaches that can last for days. We should not be forced to breathe in someone else's vape in places we must visit every day, like restaurants, grocery stores, doctor's offices, recreational facilities, or even churches. I speak before you today as someone who used to vape and has since been awakened to how much of a problem it has become for the people of London, smokers and non-smokers alike. I urge the council to prioritize public health and follow the example of many other cities by banning vaping indoors in public places. Clean air should be a right, not a privilege. I have brought with me today the edited version of the existing ordinance that includes language that would also ban vaping in public. And you all I have copies for everybody if you'd like to look. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Kate, when your mom goes out to eat and she inhales this vape, what does it actually do to her?
Oh, she gets headaches like migraines. She can't even get out of bed. It hurts her so bad. She's actually right over there. She's one of the most wonderful people I've ever met in my life. And she can't go out to public spaces because of this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are we looking to take action on this?
Not tonight. Probably not tonight.
I don't think you're going to be able to do it tonight. That's something Conrad's going to have to do an ordinance on, and you guys will need to talk to him about,
Okay.
and then bring it back as an ordinance.
Thank you.
The next thing we have on the agenda is the grant for the Boone Trace Trail improvement. You guys have documentation in your packet regarding that. What's council's pleasure on that?
Move to accept and authorize the mayor to execute the documents.
Was,
They should accept.
Do your roll call, yeah.
Mr. Ortega,
Yes.
Mr. Young,
yes.
Mr. Baker,
Yes.
Mr. Weaver.
Yes.
Next thing on the agenda was, Mr. Baker, he was part of the subcommittee that works on the public, works relocation. As many of you may be aware that, we have to find a new location for public works, and he is one, with, Mr. Weaver that serves on that subcommittee. What was you?
Yep, Mayor, Mr. Weaver and I think Mr. Binge and myself were on that committee. We got out the next day with Philip Rollins, Public Works. Mr. Bench was unable to attend. We looked at several different properties, and Mr. Weaver and I both come up with, we agree that the property on Fourth Street that the city owns, and I think the Tourism Commission has a building there now. There was some concern about the transmission line that goes through across the property on an angle. Mr. Rollins and all of us and Weaver agreed that there is 3+ workable acres that we wouldn't be underneath the transmission line. Across the railroad tracks on the back side, there's probably another acre plus that we could use, and there's probably on the front side between the highway and the transmission line some more property that we could use. The positives about using this property is the city owns it. It has a road into it already. It has the utilities already there, and that is mine and Mr. Weaver's. I think I can speak for him's recommendation on that.
Philip, would you like to come and talk on the matter as well? This is Philip Rawlings, the Public Works Director.
Thank you. Sorry. Did you? Sure.
You said you were going.
So what you got there, that's what we got from KU after we drove over and looked at it. Wanted to make sure we were right on the easement, so I had Randy reach out to his contact, Mr. Daughtry, at KU. And so what you see there is their right of way, and it is 200 feet wide, the right of way is.
100 on each side.
Yeah. That's
Yeah. You had mentioned
yeah.
that day.
So I think originally we were thinking it was 100 feet total, but it's actually 200.
I understood you to say 100 on each side, but
Yeah.
I misunderstood.
Yeah. So, and if you know on the drawing I'll give you here, it's actually, you can see it is from KU. And you can speak with Mr. Daughtry if you need that. We can get you his contact number. But I do want to remind you that there is a storm drain in that area as well.
Is that in the blue?
It's kind of adjacent to the blue, but that's actually a property line you're seeing on this map. Where we got this from KU, that's actually a property line that goes in behind the Thompson residence there. But you have a storm drain that runs through the middle of that. Also, you have a sanitary sewer that runs down through there as well. So I can get that and put all of them on there to kind of show you more why it's kind of bottleneck. And I agree, it's a great place because we own it, but I do think that we need to think 15 years ahead. What's tourism going to need? What's the street department going to need? Room wise. So, it is a nice appealing piece of property, but it's chopped up a lot. So I'd be more than happy to go over it again with you and get you a better drawing with all utilities on it now that we have this easement. So
The day that you and Judd and I looked at this, Mr. Weaver, we all three agreed that 100 feet off that transmission line, and we eyeballed the sewer drain, that there was just shy of 3 acres. I think we actually drove it in your vehicle.
yeah. And what I would like to do is we can get everything flagged. This is actually marked now. KU has marked this if you want to see it. It's marked in white. They've marked their easement through there. And we can get the sewer line marked in the storm drain too, and then that'll give you a little bit better perspective of it.
And then there was some property on the other side of the railroad tracks.
The property on the other side of the railroad tracks, and I can check with Josh here and see, but I think some of that, there's a blue stream up through there. And a lot of that is wet. If you go in there here in a couple months, that area is going to be really wet. If you'll notice, there's a big brush pile back there.
My thoughts on it is to still look at it. The plus is the city owns it.
I understand.
You know, and I mentioned to you that day, if we don't have to spend for the property, you might get a little better building.
And I'm only here to say this because, you know, the facility they've got now is, Public Works is working out of, they probably outgrew it 10 years ago, but they've made the best use of it. So I don't want us to be in that situation again long after I'm gone. I think that's what we're all here for, is the betterment of the city and looking toward the future. So, I'm not taking a stance on it in opposition. I'm just saying I would like to look at it with open mind and reasoning. So,
So what you're saying is mark it off and
yeah, we can go
but
mark it
we'd
off,
still look at it.
estimate of what size of building, so you get an idea of what kind of pockets you're trying to fit.
Well, that is just that we already own the property
I understand it. Okay.
and it's flat.
So
It
if you
has
guys want me
utilities.
to do anything else with it, just let me know and I can get it done. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Philip. So council's gonna just go pin that off, take a better look at it and come back at a later meeting, with a resolution to that. Next thing on the agenda is Mr. Baker wants to discuss the 203 South Broad Street, which was the former sheriff's building. Jim's wanting to talk about this building.
Well, I understand that the city does own the building, correct? I think at one time the school district actually owned it.
Well,
But I
they
think
had,
the
it was a
city owned.
split. They had and we really need to get clarification in this. The city does own the lower half, but at some point in history, the school board owned the second floor.
Well, that makes it difficult, doesn't it?
Yeah, so the deed is in the city's name. When in our research over a year ago, when we were trying to obtain a grant for the asbestos to get it redone, the building redone, it's because it's historical, we want to keep it. That was something that was brought to our attention, and actually, me and Larry talked again about this today. We just need to get clarification and see if there's something laying somewhere that we would need to work that out with the school board if they do own that upper portion of that.
Well, when that was, when the school owned that, that was probably the London City School that was independent of the county at that time.
I think
It's
it
not-
was the
was it-
Laurel
was it Laurel
County.
County School?
It was Laurel County
Okay,
School
okay.
Board that had the upstairs.
Okay, okay.
And there's some documents on this, and we can get this to you, but it never showed it really being split apart or the city taking the full building, and that's what we're gonna need to get clarification on.
Of course, the county owns the jail, I understand.
Yes, correct.
Okay, and when you're standing on Broad Street looking at the building, the parking lot to the right,
It's county.
oh, it is county.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Well, the only thing that I wanted to bring up tonight about the building was that it's now vacant. And I really don't have any plans as yet, I just didn't want to see us go in and tear the building down.
No.
It's got a historical value. It's built, I think, during the 30s, which is WPA era. That's the same as when the high schools were built, the gymnasiums. And I just want it to be said, this don't be quick to
Tear it down.
tear it down.
No, it's CCC money had built that building, so my office our attention was never, even when John Root was Sheriff John Root was in that building. We were actually talking, we've talked to Cumberland Valley Ad not long ago about obtaining grants to fund to fix that building up. We have talked to Philip about getting it pressure washed. But before we get the grants, we have to really dive in and find out the upstairs and downstairs portion. And that may be more of a gentleman's agreement to split, no documentation on it, but we'll just have to do some more work into that.
Well, that was my only actions just tonight, was just make sure that
Preserve that.
that we try to preserve the building.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Baker. Next thing that we have on the agenda is for council to appoint a new council person.
I would like to go back over the August 29th minutes first.
Okay?
Did Mr. Bryson and Mr. Connery get a chance to speak yet?
Are you speaking through text?
Well, we tried, I wasn't really sure what we were doing or what the council's goal or what the mayor's goal was on that. I mean, If it,
Conrad, I just want to make sure any action we take, that it's legal.
no, I don't disagree with that. I mean,
I don't want to recognize a motion because someone's trying to do away with minutes that the city attorney is saying you can't do that, and then you're saying they should be able to do that. So it's another one of these things when we're getting these council meetings and the two attorneys are not agreeing that we have to get this kind of stuff worked out, or I'm going to catch another charge.
Then I would move to table it to next meeting.
Actually, we can't table it.
Can't table
We
it.
can't table this because what's on the minutes is Mr. Bench's resignation.
Yeah, so his
You can't-
resignation was
you
on
can't
there as
appoint a
well.
new council member. Well,
That is correct. Good catch.
so Judd, what was your motion again, sir?
My motion was to accept the minutes of the 29th, excluding the attorney's comment that was not scheduled on the special call meeting.
But I would like to clarify something too, so we don't get lost in any minutes tonight. My attorney was in full rights to speak because you guys were speaking of this very issue. So he spoke, he made an objection on the proceedings for what's coming later. So again, this occurred in this meeting. I think that it would be unethical for us to remove minutes, not saying that you agree to it or anything. You're just simply accepting the minutes of what occurred in that meeting. To try to change that, I don't understand. I'm not understanding what we're trying to do in that.
I guess just procedurally then, if we have a motion on the floor, we either need a second or it needs to fail. And then if there's a second, be voted on.
I second it. Because the resignation needs to be in the minutes. So I second Mr. Weaver's motion
To,
to strike Carmine's statement and approve the August 29th minutes.
the chair don't agree with this, but you guys are going to do it anyway.
Roll call.
Point of order, please.
Yeah.
The motion's on the floor.
Mr. Ortega,
Yes.
Mr. Young,
Yes.
Mr. Baker,
Yes.
Mr. Weaver.
Yes.
Going back to,
At this time, I would like to make an appointment for Stacy Bills, please.
okay,
And I would ask that to nominate Donna Gale Wilson House to fill this seat.
Appointment new council person.
you owe me $20, Larry.
I'll second that.
Donna Gale House, Brian Weaver. Did anyone second it?
Let's hold
I'll second.
decorum.
Roll call.
Yes, do your roll call.
Mr. Ortega,
Yes.
Mr. Young,
Yes.
Mr. Baker,
Yes.
Mr. Weaver.
Yes.
So that was this right here
Yes.
for Stacy.
Yes,
Did we-
we're moving
I
in.
would
Yes.
like to either have the floor before we adjourn or after we adjourn. If anybody wants to stick around, there are just a couple of things I want to speak to the public on. Before we leave.
Council is unfortunately not recognizing any public to speak tonight, so it would have to be after we adjourn the meeting. So, will council accept answering questions?
This one public.
I thought they were signing up.
I'm not interested.
No.
I make a motion to adjourn, please.
Who seconds?
Hold on just a minute. Let's just,
So,
There is a motion on the floor. Did anybody second the motion?
I'll second.
against the mayor, the mayor's attorney responded to the agenda, right? So technically, being a Robert's Rule of Order person, that's very suspicious. Okay, I don't.
Point of order, please. I've got a motion on the floor.
what's your point of order?
Question is, by bill.
It's motion before we adjourn.
Does that now remove that objection from Friday's hearing?
That's what they wanted.
That's exactly what they wanted, and that's why we're sitting here. Yes. Because by removing that objection and that attorney's comments, according to the agenda that was presented by these people sitting here, now, on Friday, they cannot use that you can't use that objection probably in that hearing.
Oh, it'll still be used, I'm sure. It just won't be in the minutes.
Yeah.
Second motion.
So, we're going to adjourn in a minute, just a minute, Judge.
Second motion.
But, the chair would like to recognize this. Council in multiple, and especially one particular meeting,
Excuse me,
made,
we have a motion.
hold your peace, hold your peace,
Point of order. Point of order.
hold your peace. The chair is speaking here. So you guys said, you mentioned you do not want things stacked. You have blatantly stacked the council for the removal of the mayor. So I want this on the record tonight, that you're appointing people that for years have been on Facebook blasting me, nothing to do with your charges, made it very plain how much their disdain for me for other reasons. So you have stacked the council. So motion to adjourn, do your roll call.
Mr. Ortega,
Yes.
Mr. Young,
Yes.
Mr. Baker,
Yes.
Mr. Weaver.
Yes.
We are adjourned at 6:11. So I can talk to anybody? All right, so anybody that wants to stand around and listen to what I have to say, please stay put or within hearing distance. So there are two petitions that are live and in the back for anyone to sign if they're interested. And I wanted to read these petitions to you all just so that we're not wasting time, everybody holding up the line to sign if they do wish to sign. The first petition that we have is for city residents. It is petition to stop the politically motivated removal of Mayor Randall Weddle. We, the undersigned residents and supporters of the City of London, Kentucky, oppose the City Council's attempt to remove Mayor Randall Weddle from office. This removal effort is not rooted in the will of the people, but in political maneuvering that undermines our community's stability and trust in government. Mayor Randall Mayor Randall Weddle was duly elected by the citizens of London. Any attempt to override that democratic choice without clear and compelling cause is an insult to the voters it is an insult to the voters who placed him in office. We call on the City Council to respect the will of the people, cease efforts to remove the mayor, and refocus attention on the issues that matter most. Those issues are safe housing, economic growth, and community well-being. We urge every member of council to vote no on removal. I have one more. This one is just a tad bit longer. This petition is for any resident of Kentucky that is here and feels like this is impacting them. This is a petition to protect democracy in London, Kentucky. We, the undersigned citizens of the City of London and Laurel County, we respectfully call upon the London City Council and the court to halt the politically motivated attempt to remove Mayor Randall Weddle from office. This process appears to be conducted in haste and contrary to the spirit and letter of Kentucky law. It undermines public trust, weakens the democratic process, and threatens to set a dangerous precedent across the Commonwealth. 1. Political responsibility and voter accountability. Council members are elected officials. Most of them, anyhow. And every decision they make reverberates throughout the city and county and state. Their actions do not exist in isolation. If the public perceives that removal is being pursued without fairness, transparency, or lawful cause, it will irreparably damage civic confidence. The people of London elected Mayor Weddle. Overturning that choice without meeting the clear requirements of law is not only unjust, it is a direct insult to the voters whose voices created this mandate. Number 2, legal safeguards in Kentucky law.
Kentucky law is clear. KRS Chapter 83A, Section 130, subsection 9. A mayor may be removed only for misconduct, incapacity, or willful neglect in the performance of duties, and only after written charges, notice, and a full hearing where the mayor has the right to defend. KRS Chapter 83A, Section 70, subsection 3. A legislative body must act only within the authority granted by law and cannot expand its powers beyond those limits. Kentucky Constitution, Section 2, prohibits arbitrary government action. All exercises of power must be grounded in law, not political convenience. KRS Chapter 61, Section 80, and the sections that follow, which is the Open Meetings Act, and KRS Chapter 61, Section 872, Open Records Act. It requires transparency in all proceedings. Even if council members have predetermined their votes, the law still demands fairness, transparency, and due process. A decision made in haste with minds already closed violates both the letter and the spirit of Kentucky law. 3, erosion of public trust. The appearance of fairness is as essential as fairness itself. A removal process seen as political gamesmanship rather than lawful necessity destroys confidence in local government. Families, businesses, and community members already face uncertainty from these actions. If elected officials can disregard the law and the will of the voters, civic faith and justice will be shaken. Number 4, dangerous precedent for Kentucky. If a mayor can be removed without clear statutory cause, it sets a precedent that any council in Kentucky can disregard the will of the people whenever political disagreements arise. This is bigger than London. It is about protecting democracy across our Commonwealth. Here is our call to action. We, the undersigned, demand that the London City Council and any court that ends up hearing this case recognize that removal must not proceed as a foregone conclusion, but only with full respect for the due process protections guaranteed by KRS Chapter 83A, Section 130. We also demand that the will of the voters be honored and Mayor Randall Weddle be allowed to complete the term in which he was duly elected. Number 3, we demand all proceedings comply strictly with Kentucky's Open Meetings Act and Open Records Law. And number 4, we demand that if Mayor Randall Weddle requests a stay of any removal order or proceeding, the court must grant it to preserve stability, fairness, and the rights of the electorate while appeals and proper legal review are conducted. The people's voice is sovereign. We stand united in defense of democracy, fairness, and the rule of law. We urge every council member and any court to reject removal, grant a stay if requested, and protect the rights of London citizens. And that is all.
Somebody else that wanted to speak?
Well, yeah.
Thank you for
Mhm.
permission. So we're going to talk transparency, right? Constitutions. Where was Doug Harless's constitutions that night? Where's the public trust? I mean, are we safe? Who killed him? We don't know. You know, it says public trust. I don't got no trust for the public no more. It's dangerous out there. You can't sleep in your home at midnight, being a God-fearing, innocent person, but no actions is took place. It says call to action. I think I can speak for a lot of people when I say we the people demand transparency. We need it. This is what's broke this town. This is what brought everything to light. I got to thank Doug Harless for that. And this day moving forward, we will choose the right people to what we need to vote for. This shouldn't happen to nobody. It could have happened to any one of us in here. It could have been our kids. He could have had his grandkids that night. Do you know Doug Harless passed out over 100 gifts the night before he was killed to the handicapped and elderly. Where's the transparency behind that, Mayor? You know, I don't go at you. I talk nice to you, right? I call you out and I'll call these over here out. I have no problem calling anybody out. I am not one-sided. I'm sorry wherever you're at. This is one-sided. You called the city council out the other night over the way they done their meeting for him, but you never said not one thing about his, and it was the same way. If we're going to be transparent, let's be transparent across the board. The main reason Doug Harless is dead, we have no trust. Us, the people, need trust. Us, the people, need justice for at least one somebody. We've all been hurt. I'm sorry. It's just the way it is. We can't trust none of yous. Wait. You asked a good question. Why did I not go to the state police? Randall Weddle, have I come to you and asked you anything about Doug Harless's death?
You have not.
I actually stood up there and I protested all the way across this town. I have walked from one end of this town with my all the way to the other and back with my sign. I stood up there and went across the road for 6 hours and it 104 degrees in front of the state police with my sign.
So what are they telling you?
Absolutely nothing. That's why we need transparency across the board. All of them need to be transparent. 100%. It can be under investigation. I know people sitting right here, some of them in here that made the point that they sit in jail while they was being investigated. Why wasn't they let out of jail when they was being investigated? But yet people, how can we be safe not knowing who killed this man and why it took place?
I don't dispute what you're
Yeah.
saying there.
If we're going to holler,
Some of us don't blame Will.
I don't blame nobody because it ain't come out true. Nobody knows who done it. It's been hush since
Can I
day
say something about this?
Yes, sir.
You were up at City Hall. Me and you had
Had a great conversation.
let's keep
We
respect.
disagreed, but we agreed, but we could still have coffee together.
We did agree on one thing, and you said this, but
Yes, I did.
they're
We both have
using
common
this as
goals.
a political.
I didn't say everybody.
Yes,
There may be some out there using
you
it for
said
political
you agreed
gain.
with me. And
So there
I
are
agree with
people
you.
who
It's
use
a shame
this.
that's happened.
Absolutely, 100%. But have you not used it for political gain too, sitting up here? Randall, we've seen. I mean, if I call you out just like I do them, you got to admit you got your jabs in there just the way you spoke it. It's a word game. You got your jabs in.
No, when me
Just like when you
discussing
said,
this,
"Oh, no, add more charges," that was adding a jab.
you
That was
actually
unnecessary.
now hold
Put
on a
up the
minute.
rules.
Can speak on this.
Yes, ma'am.
Most people.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. Did you sit in jail while you waited investigation? So why is it right?
Violation. Do you know
No,
what that is?
no, ma'am.
That's when your prosecutor's office hides evidence.
Did people know it was your brother? There you go. Transparency across the board. Thank you. Have a great day. Sorry, folks.
Thank you.
It's hot.
It was 2.5 years before we had answers. It was 2.5 years of families being broken and children without a father that we had to sit and wait, and I had to come up to this courthouse every single month and listen to it. I understand where you're going from, but I understand the truth. And he spent 13 years in prison for not murdering someone. Okay? You're not gonna get answers that you want here. It's not gonna happen. You got more transparency right now, and I've been in this town for 25 years, than you've ever had since this town is lakes and bricks. But I do have a question.
At what point do we shut this down?
So I do have a question, and I think a lot of people in here want clarity and asking you as the city attorney. We know that they're going to have the votes that they need on Friday, right? So what happens to the mayor's position? He can appeal, right? While he's in that appellate process, can he still hold office?
No.
So that answer is no.
So, I think a lot of people's confused about how this is going to work. So let me kind of explain so the public understands. First of all, they have moved it from this building, which would hold 500 people, to the physical court. The physical court apparently decided they didn't want nothing to do with it, so they then reached out to the judicial center and asked the people over there, can they have it over there? So, unfortunately, there's not a lot any of us can do. The way the statutes are currently written, council has the authority to impeach. And while most of us, all of us, and the majority of London doesn't want this, not necessarily because they support Mayor Weddle, because this is destroying our community. The division that I've seen is absolutely beyond anything I've witnessed. And like tonight, January, I sit and took a beating from council and all their buddies, and I didn't say a word because that's, as a leader, is what we should do, is be willing to hear everybody, even when I don't like what you're saying or don't agree. But as a leader, I should sit here and take it and maybe change my ways even. But notice every time there is one group that sits up here in front of every one of you that anybody in the public objects them, they get up and run. They hide. And then they claim that they're scared. They're scared because they know what they're doing is not right. So they put it in a judicial center that now the decorum of the courts are going to have to take place. Meaning you're not going to have to be able to live, sit there with your phone and on Facebook. That's not going to be allowed. You're not going to be in there with signs because that's not going to be allowed. 150 of you is going to be allowed in that room. They are systematically trying to keep the public out of this special called meeting. Let me get this straight. It's a special called council meeting happened on September the 5th. Inside of that special meeting is a hearing to impeach me. Remember, you have full and should have, by statutes of this state, full rights to hear, view, and sit in that meeting. They have made the decision to block the public from being able to record this meeting, to let it be on Facebook Live, to keep the media out of this meeting. They are going to do every bit of this in darkness. That's why we're having it at the Judicial Center. No other reason. If they wanted transparency and the public to be able to see and have complete eyes on this hearing, it would be done in this building, but it's not happening. So it tells you how nefarious this is. It shows you that when they trump up 3 different time charges on me, how nefarious this is. You've seen how the media, even the fake news media, has been so one-sided in this. The last meeting, what did they do? We had 300 signs against council in this building. What did they do? They showed 1 or 2 signs opposing. That's the reality of what we're facing. And the sad part about it, our town continuously gets ripped apart, and these 5 individuals could care less. They could care less that for 9 months we've not done nothing but bicker and fight. They could care less that citizens are upset. They say you're from Clay County or out in the county of Laurel County, that you should have no say in this building. But I do believe that the public is waking up, and it's unfortunate that all of you guys are not being heard by your council members. But this, I want to remind you, this is a special called meeting on Friday. Look up the laws of the open meetings. You should have full access, like you do any other meeting, to this. Now let's talk about the judge. He is simply a hearing officer. That's all he is. He has no jurisdiction to say anything but to object or abstain when the lawyers start debating inside this hearing. He will not make any rulings. The council that brought charges on me and then changed them 3 different times is the same council that will eventually go back into executive session and be the judge and jury on that day. You know the end of this story on Friday. But the sad part about it is democracy has been dying in London. They don't want the truth out, so they're trying to kill it.
I say something, and I probably won't need to speak for.
I'm sorry, I'm Barbara Reed. Now, as Jim Baker said, let me give you a little background. I am Raymond Reed's widow. He was the principal of Laurel County High School. This is nothing new going on here. It started when Joe McKnight was followed to Richmond, putting liquor in his car. They took pictures of him. He had to resign. Then it started with when a certain person got out of prison. It started on Rudder. Kelly and Judd were on the council then. It started then. Then they got on to John Root. Then they got on to what's the county for Tony Brown?
County clerk.
Dean Johnson. They got on to him. They have ridiculed Mr. Bryson to no end. And let me tell you, I might be 5'3", but I'd fight for that man. Yeah, I got Gracie with me there too. We're Wildcat. Somebody told me one time, Bart. I mean, I'm so tired of this. So tired of it. Somebody told me one time, Barb, you don't know them. They'll kill you. I said, I'll be with Raymond then. Because you know what my little man used to say when he couldn't get nothing done at school? He said, I don't give a rat's ass. What's right is right. That's right. I'm telling you, we are tired of this. We're tired of pedophiles. And you know, that and I had one of course I've been blocked from other sites because when they start that crap, I say the truth and they block me. They don't give me a chance to answer. But one night, on my friend's side, a person with a fake profile, just a little dude, he was going on about this and that. So, and I just said, funny little dude with your little fake thing. And I said, yeah, we do have proof. And so I was playing with him, and it was late at night. And, you know, being a widow, I don't have anything to do. So I just kind of coming back with him, and he got so mad, and I knew who it was. He got so mad, and he said, "Can't you read?" And I said, "Oh, funny little dude." I said, "I can read. Can you? We have proof too." And you know what he said? He got so frustrated. He said, well, Raymond was older than me. I may look older than I am, but he said, you need to get out of politics. Aren't you 80 or something? So I just like for everybody to know this is nothing new. They started on him when he started campaigning. That's right. When he started campaigning. That's right. And I tell you another thing. And I said this all along. Anthony Ortega is a con man. He's gone from state to state.
He's a dictator.
Yes.
He is straight out of Cuba.
Well, I don't know where he's from, but he's a con man. He's a con man.
He's Fidel Castro.
Yes, he's a con man. And he does live in Laurel Canyon.
Yeah, he does.
He does live in Laurel Canyon.
So the question tonight, though, is what can we do?
What can we do?
I would like to address this.
Okay, go ahead.
And he asked, what could we do as people, right? And the mayor necessarily wasn't correct and said nothing. That's not correct, really, to a point. You can do something, right? We saw tonight that there's 2 city council members who are not elected by the people. They're elected by their friends. Tonight, we saw a 3rd person also elected to the city council, not by the people, but by their own group sitting up here. So when the mayor and when the other people ask you, what can you do to help me? Remember this come 2026. We have 3 months. We have 3 months of this year left, and guess what? 2026 is around. And these same people that are up here telling you to shut up while you're trying to talk, they'll be at your doorstep asking for your vote. So you remember this come 2026, when all these same council members are coming to your door asking for your vote, telling you, I represent you, the people. I would ask you, when they tell you that, ask them, is marking out a 2-minute statement from meeting minutes transparency? Is telling members in the crowd to shut up when they have genuine questions or just want accountability and they are told to hush up, your voice doesn't matter? Is that truly a representative for the people or a representative for themselves?
Themselves.
Remember this come 2026. Thank you.
I have a question.
Yeah. Grace, say that louder, they hear you.
It's just a question. So I'm Leslie Pelly. I am a city resident. But the Attorney General, I'll be honest, I've called everyone. I have tried to submit complaints and it's hearsay basically. Is there a way that we can contact someone that will actually listen to the residents? Because there's no way that we can impeach them.
And that's what I'm saying. So let me clarify when I say there's nothing you can do far as if we go to the Attorney General. And I want to say something. A.G. Coleman, I think he's done a tremendous job. I know this past year he's had so many appeals on open recs and open record requests from us. And his office has done a fantastic job. I do want to make that statement. But there is a lot of things, there's no laws to really govern or give guidance. And then the burden of the proof on the person making the complaint, you have to be very very detailed. And it is hard because you're asking a person that knows nothing about this to step in and get involved. So, and the laws, again, they're outdated, they're very gray. And so we need an update on laws. But here's what I do say is this. Democracy is dying in our city. We've watched it. Not just what they're doing to me. I have watched since January them tell residents to shut up, don't talk, don't want to hear you. This guy with Doug Harless just admitted that he was in my office talking to me. I've never rejected one citizen, and it, regardless if you like me or not. If you want to speak to me, I'm going to speak to you. They refuse. Democracy is dead because we have dictators now that has the ability to do what they're doing. September the 5th, that courthouse needs to be full. The streets need to be full with people opposing, not supporting necessarily Mayor Weddle, but my God, why have elections if Doug Phelps is going to be controlling every politician we got? And if you don't think that hardened pedophile is controlling your elected officials, look at the pictures and the videos online and then watch him in meetings. I'm sitting up here, I get to see it. I get to watch the motions and the moving and the people looking at their phones and me looking at council members reading and then coming back up with something. And listen, I was the first politician to come out in my campaign trying to fight for the girls in this community and the boys that's been raped by these people. So why am I going through hell now? Is because I told Doug Phelps, you're not getting a damn job in my administration because you're a pedophile.
By the way, we've been told that
I'm going to get sued if we're on Facebook.
the council are doing, I'll say exact words. I don't know where this word come from and who they're talking about. Inbreds. We're getting paid. Probably having a fire with you, I don't know.
I'm one of those inbreds they're talking about.
You would like to write me a check, I'm a widow and.
Weddle don't have that much money. We have way too many supporters. We don't have that much money.
Getting paid for this is pathetic. Sorry.
Are you gonna run in November 20?
I'm definitely running for the mayor of London. Not the governor. I'm running for the mayor of London. We're going to give them hell.
would be the difference in a city like Lexington and London, that the Lexington mayor, one of their council members resigned, and she appointed the council member.
It's a different government.
Yeah. It's,
So who comes up with them ordinances?
The council.
no, those are state laws, and that's an urban county government.
I thought maybe it might be the population or
Yes,
some such.
yes, yes.
Nominations, there was no opening. It wasn't discussed in an open meeting. It was, how would they know? It's evidence that they're making private meetings. There could be
me 2 years and I'm back home. I've got some concerns, a big black guy. All of this is caused from London. My name is Kimberly. And my concern is if you're a corporation, company, you're looking for a place to build a plant. You Google London, Kentucky, we're a laughing stock.
Agreed.
But I don't see these people doing anything. And also with the fence, I agree about the fence. So the pedophile, with him attending meetings and children being present, is that permissible? Is he still a registered citizen?
He had to give up his teachings.
Well,
You know, the good thing about it, they're a little bit scared because they have a state not here, here.
He had to give up his.
They're scared, they're getting scared, and I won't quit. Look here, I'm a big person, I ain't even from money, but I guess, let me tell you something. I hate a fucking pedophile, in London, in his first step. I'll stand up for these babies. I make justice for them. So like, anybody that does, what I read in the Bible, from what I read in the Bible, God says, you'd be better off to have a stone tied to your neck and buried in the deepest part of the sea. And guess what? That's what's gonna happen to everybody that's ever been filed in this county. I'm tired of it. Look at everybody that's scared of the city, county, up their whole life, because they think they're gonna get ready.
Don't free to be crazy. Oh, good gosh.
Well, we appreciate all you guys coming out. We appreciate everybody that spoke. Thank you, guys. We'll just continue fighting.
Don't forget. I'm on the white table back here.
Attorney General's office today. And she said there's an apartment, they always tell us about our city council. Well, that's obviously.
So was this